why would you continue to watch this crap?
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. Montez Sweat hits one to deep right center field. Back at the wall. This ball is gone. Montez Sweat goes deep. Rebate, charges, throws, out, and the White Sox have won the World Series. To Durante, across the cage, he scores! Here's who's going to look the third time in 6 years. The Blackhawks are Stanley Cup champions. He will glove it through to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
And what is going on, Windy City Sports Talk fans? It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons. What's up, Fitzy?
It's weird to see some of those the great intro you put together. It's weird to see some of those highlights. Forgot that there was actually good teams in the city.
At one point or another, right?
One point or another. Seems very, very far away.
It's
very far away.
When you look at you can actually look it up on YouTube, and you can look up greatest moments in Chicago sports history, and you'll see a great 12-minute video of just the best moments in Chicago sports history.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look up the worst moments in Chicago sports history, there's actually a 24-minute reel.
Only 24 minutes?
It doubles the time.
24 minutes.
It doubles the time of the greatest moments in Chicago sports history.
Not shocking. And another, I mean, we could really just do a show every day in this dumb town. We could. Another running backs coach fired. The Bulls don't know what the hell they're doing. The patients running the asylum.
And look, we've got a jam-packed show planned for you guys. We're going to talk Chicago Bears landing Montez Sweat.
Yeah, boy.
We're going to talk about the Bears extending Montez Sweat. Or talk about the Bears not doing the same thing for their own, even though they say they will take care of their own in Jalen Johnson. We're going to talk Cubs. We're going to talk White Sox. What do we want to see go on in this offseason now that the World Series is over and free agency starts tomorrow? And we're going to talk some Bulls and Blackhawks. And, of course, Fitz gibberish and the Wheel of Death.
I don't like how you said Fitz gibberish. It's like, and of course.
And, well, look, it's a fan favorite. Fitz gibberish is a fan favorite. Everybody wants to hear it. Everybody wants to listen to it. As a matter of fact, if we would just clip it and put it as a part of the show, people would be just happy not hearing me ever.
I was clipping it. We'll get the clips out there.
Especially Jeremiah Murray. Jeremiah Murray would be happy never hearing me talk about how much of a joke Caleb Williams is, wouldn't he?
A little sore on Facebook last night.
He was. I was at the bar, so I didn't respond too much. And he was talking about Caleb Williams, or you brought up Caleb Williams, actually. And
stir the pot.
Yeah, but Caleb Williams finished last night crying in the arms of his mother. So, he looks like he'll definitely be able to take the soreness of what the NFL will bring to him. He'll be freaking melted into a baby by the time he's in his third game in the NFL.
Making fun of a crying kid.
Yeah. Yes.
What you do? Kill old ladies and make fun of crying. Somebody who's still kind of a kid. That's the point of the show. That's the thrust.
And you know what? That's what we're all about here.
Yes.
I make fun of crying kids. I kill old ladies, and Fitz doesn't like athletes who have cancer. That's what we do here.
Not me. Not me.
It's definitely you.
Maybe. Liam Hendrick.
Look, all right. Let's talk about the Bears before we get to the White Sox, because we're going to get to this shenanigans on the South Side, because I've talked about how I still like the White Sox even though I'm a Cubs fan, but they've made some moves this week that have made it very hard for me to continue that. So we're definitely going to get to that. But the Bears are the big news of the week.
Yep.
The Bears traded for Montez Sweat, second round pick. You and I were on the phone immediately with one another, and we were talking about, does this make sense? Did Ryan Poles tip his hand? They better sign him. If they don't sign him, Ryan Poles is going to lose this city. And it took till Saturday, but they got him on a 4-year, $98 million deal. How do you feel about this trade now how did you feel about it before the signing, and how do you feel about it after the signing?
Well, what is it? 72 million guaranteed too. When the trade happened, I thought they would sign him right away, and then he has a press conference where he has to look things over.
Right.
I mean, I'm guessing that was a leverage move by him. I'm sure his agent told him, like, don't say anything, don't be committed, even though I'm guessing they had already agreed before that press conference, probably. But still saying I have to look around. That was pretty scary, because that would be a Chicago move, a Chicago sports team move, to trade for a guy in a season where you're going nowhere, yes, and then not signing him. So him being signed is a really good thing. Probably top 10 edge rusher in the league, even though he hasn't had double-digit sacks. Really good run stuffer too. He doesn't just very healthy. Has missed like 5 or 6 games for an edge rusher in 4 years. Almost 4 years now.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Big guy, long guy, 6'6". Is going to help that secondary. I do get the comment that Jalen Johnson's probably pissed, but he's not an edge rusher. He should remember that.
Right.
This could make the entire defense really good, and you got him locked up now for 4 years. I wouldn't have given the highest second pick. I think they overpaid there, but in the end, you got your edge rusher. You got what you needed. You don't have to draft him. I think now it's almost certain they're drafting a quarterback in the first round. Almost certain. And Justin Fields is done in Chicago, which I think we already knew. But
yeah,
this really spells that he wanted to free up another pick in the first round, and he did that.
Yeah.
Montez Sweat is a first round pick. I mean, you're not going to trade a first round pick for him, but he would, if he was coming out in the draft, he'd be a first round pick for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think that he would be a first round pick. I also think that what they're getting, and people went nuts, right? Like, oh, Chase Young, they got Chase Young for a third round pick, and we gave up a second for Montez Sweat. First of all, Montez Sweat stays healthier than Chase Young. Montez Sweat has put up the similar numbers to Chase Young.
Better.
Montez Sweat also probably, and here's my thought process in it as to why they gave up a second as opposed to a third for Chase Young. There weren't very many teams in on Chase Young for what they were asking for. And the Bears were up against Montez Sweat's hometown team, the Atlanta Falcons, who were offering a third round pick. And my guess is, instead of Chase Young coming to Chicago, I think Chase Young probably told the Bears, I won't sign in Chicago.
Yeah.
You can trade for me if you want, but I'm not signing a contract here. And I don't necessarily blame him. I don't blame any player who says, look, I'm not signing with that organization right now, the way that it's constructed. But Montez Sweat said, yeah, you know what? We could probably get something done if here's where it's going to start, and we're going to have some negotiations, but we could probably get something done. And we find out that it's 4 years, $98 million. A lot of money for a defensive end. But I think it's a good signing. I think it's a good move. We've been crying all year long, Bears fans, about how we need pressure off the edge.
Yeah.
We go and get pressure off the edge, and you're like, well, it wasn't the guy that we wanted, and now he cost us $98 million. It's what it's going to cost, and anything that you could have gotten with that number 35, what it is right now, I think the 35 overall pick right now as is constituted, that's saying if they don't win another game, the 35th overall pick, you wouldn't have got anything that was as proven as this guy is. You wouldn't have gotten an edge rusher that's as dominant as this guy has proven he can be in the NFL. You got a proven commodity for that second round pick. I think it's a great trade. I think Ryan Poles hit this one out of the park. I think it's better than the Chase Claypool deal. I know a lot of Bears fans have BTSD and we get crazy when the Bears do things that they do. But the Chase Claypool thing was it was a bust, just like the Velus Jones draft pick. It was a bust, which I don't know why, Brian. Why can't Ryan Poles walk away from Velus Jones?
I don't know.
Like, if any time at any point in the world that you could have walked away from Velus Jones, would have been after he dropped that pass this past Sunday night.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Oh my God. It went on every body part. I think it touched every body part before it hit the ground. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before. But just to back up a couple of stats. Obviously, Chase Young does look like the athletically superior player, but that doesn't always mean, Montez Sweat drafted in 19, Chase Young 20. It's his 5th season. So
yeah.
Sweat played every game, 3/4 of his 4th season. Played every game in his first 3 years. Currently played all 8 games this year. Young never has played every game. He has missed 23 games in his career. Sweat has 35.5 career sacks. Young has 14.
Yeah.
Sweat 197 combined tackles. Young 90. Like, we could keep going. Sweat has 9 forced fumbles and 1 INT. Young has 0 forced fumbles and 0 INTs, 0 interceptions.
Yeah. It's, to me, it's a good deal. I actually think they got the guy that they could sign for less money. I think that they got actually probably the better player right now. And I know he's not the better name. He's not the bigger name. He's not Chase Young, but he's the better player right now. And Chase Young, again, I mean, the guy has shown in his short NFL career to be fragile, to not be able to run out there week after week. And we know what happens when we have a defensive end who goes out there week after week and doesn't show up. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing his jersey right now on purpose. We've already seen what happens when we sign the defensive end to a big contract who can't play week after week. You got 1 season out of Khalil Mack.
Great season.
1 season. It was a great season, but it was 1 season out of Khalil Mack. And it's probably the same thing that you would have gotten out of Chase Young.
You had 1 season out of Khalil Mack and a game where he made Tom Brady forget what down it was. So I just want to mention that.
Yes. In a game where he absolutely dominated the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
Bears still lost that game, though.
Yeah, they did.
So, you know what I mean? Like, it's Bears fans have to calm down, because you can't just have your cake and eat it too every damn week. That's what Bears, like, since when do Bears fans get so spoiled that we believe that we know anything about what it takes to run a good organization? Like, is it what do Bears fans know about making the right move? Nothing. Because they've never seen it done in Chicago. Let this one play out, Bears fans. Give it a year and a half. If by the end of next season Montez Sweat is cut, if by the end of next season Montez Sweat is playing somewhere else, we can have this conversation about whether or not it was a bad trade. But as of right now, I think it was a pretty damn good trade.
Rewatch the Washington Redskins game. Chase Young did have a sack, but rewatch that game and you'll see a guy who's playing selfishly. He's playing for himself, trying to get to Justin Fields almost every down instead of playing the run. So what that means is he's coming upfield. He's not setting an edge at all. So all they do is counter all day and run all over the Redskins for it. That's basically what the Bears did in that game. You can rewatch. Didn't pull any tape, but you can rewatch that game. and it's blaringly obvious he's playing for himself.
Jeremiah says, Young is injury prone. What's going on, Jeremiah? Physicals weren't good for 4 different teams, and scouts say he freelances to make splash plays.
Yep.
I completely agree. I think that they got the better player. I really do. I think that Montez Sweat overall is a better player right now than Chase Young is. And it's just, it's hard for people to understand because it's, especially here in Chicago, we dwell on the names, right? We dwell on the names. I'm hearing it in the baseball world, which we're going to get to in a little while, where we're dwelling on a name that we want to see our teams go and get, as opposed to the actual product on the field. And that's what we have to start concerning ourselves with as fans here in Chicago, is the actual product on the field. We can't just go to football games because they go out and they get DJ Moore. We can't just go to hockey games because they got Connor Bedard. We can't just go to baseball games because one of the teams signed Shohei Ohtani. Like, the product on the field has to warrant us to purchase tickets. Otherwise, this is never going to change in this city. It's never going to change. Stop dwelling on names and start dwelling on the product on the field. Speaking of the product on the field and drafts and names, Ryan Poles, you believe he tipped his hand that he's going quarterback in the first round of the draft. Do you believe that would be with the number 1 pick? Or do you believe that it would be with whatever theirs turns out to be, anywhere between 3 and probably 8?
Well, 3 and 8, you can get a left tackle, or unless they really like Marvin Harrison Jr.
But how do you not? He is a generational wide receiver.
Yes, he is. Polished like his dad, but physically way more talented.
Yes.
But he also tipped his hand with the contract. The contract for Montez Sweat is front loaded. What does that mean? Because it's front loaded. If you get the right quarterback, you can pay the quarterback and still have Montez Sweat in that 4th year.
Right.
Of his contract. So it almost tips it with the contract too. I'd have to wait. Like, there's a lot of time still left in college football too. There's still a lot of time left. Let's wait to see what pick they have. I think they're probably going to go with the later pick with a quarterback. But who knows? He could be falling in love with Caleb Williams or Bo Nix or whoever ends up being the top quarterback once we get there. Top quarterback shuffle around.
If you say Caleb Williams one more time, I'm gonna punch you in the throat.
They might draft him, man. So get used to the idea.
I'll go get a Detroit Lions jersey.
It's a very offensive heavy draft.
This
for sure. I mean,
I think that out of all of the quarterbacks coming out of the draft, I think Caleb Williams is actually probably 4th or 5th on my list. I like Penix Jr. a lot better. I like Bo Nix. I hate to say this because he's a North Carolina guy. I like Drake May better than I like Caleb Williams. To me, I watch Caleb Williams and I see a lot of Kyler Murray. I see a lot of what he's going to be in the NFL is going to be a lot like Kyler Murray. And look, Kyler Murray had a couple of really good seasons, but as soon as the tape was established on him, Kyler Murray became a completely different player. Of course, now maybe Call of Duty might have something to do with that, but he became a completely different player, and defenses figured him out quickly. And I think that Caleb Williams is going to be the same thing. I think Michael Penix Jr., is the best quarterback in this draft.
All right.
And I really do. I watched this kid play week in and week out. I watch the things that he does. And to me, he gets the job done. He goes out there, he finds ways to win. He puts the ball in the end zone. I like what this kid has done, and he's more consistent than Caleb Williams has been. Caleb Williams has had, now 3, because he had a decent game last night against Washington. He's had 3 good games this season out of the 8. Like, he hasn't put he had 6 touchdowns versus Colorado. He had 4 touchdowns. I think it was 4 or 5 touchdowns last week versus Cal. And then he had 3 touchdowns yesterday versus Washington.
Good Washington team.
So out of his 15 touchdowns, 17 touchdowns, 14 of them have come in those games. He's had 3 or more games this year of 1 or 0 touchdowns. He has 3 or more games this year where he has more interceptions than he does touchdowns. I'm telling you right now, Caleb Williams is a product of the Pac-12. Caleb Williams is a college quarterback, and he's a good college quarterback, but he is not going to translate to the NFL. We could talk about it all day. Jeremiah's head's probably going to explode. Listen to me talk like this, but that's the truth. Look at what he does versus teams outside of the Pac-12. Look at what he does versus teams that really, if you're a quarterback that is just going to dominate and be everything that everybody's talking about you being just coming out of college, you should be tearing these teams up. And Caleb Williams does not do that.
He does have a lot of talent. I mean, that is it does pop out at the screen at
so
you.
Does Kyler Murray.
He does have some improv. He can improv pretty good on the field as well, but so can Kyler Murray. You're right. He's probably a little bigger than Kyler Murray, I would think. It's hard. It's really hard to mount a defense here against you because the stats are there, but I mean, people who are in the know are calling this guy a generational talent. You can't just ignore that. Now, I'm not a huge USC fan, but I don't think their offense is particularly great. I don't think he has a particularly great offensive line. I think there's other things going on there. That team was never, with any quarterback, was never going to a national championship. It's a
They
hard.
scored 32 points in that loss versus Utah. They scored, I believe it was 32 points. He had 0 touchdowns. So they're doing it with the run. They've got other talent there. So I can't buy the fact that he doesn't have a good offensive line when they're scoring points without him producing. That's the thing. Like they're doing things without Caleb Williams producing. They are putting up numbers without him being good. That game against Notre Dame, right? Like he 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions, but their run game was really good. That game against Utah, you're talking about
was fooled by the zone defense too against Notre Dame.
Yeah, 10 games. Okay, so I was a little off. So he has 28 touchdowns this year, right? He had 4 versus San Jose State, 5 versus Nevada, 3 versus Stanford, 3 versus Arizona State, 6 versus Colorado, 1 versus Arizona, 1 versus Notre Dame, none versus Utah, 2 versus Cal, and 3 versus Washington. Like you're not talking about a guy who is just setting the world on fire. You're talking about a guy who plays lesser talent and puts up decent numbers. It's the Pac-12. Jeremiah says the Pac-12 might be the best conference in college football this year. You are out of your mind. You are out of your.
Great yesterday, and Alabama is not Alabama this year.
Does the Pac-12 even have a team inside the playoffs right now?
Yeah,
I don't believe they do.
Wouldn't Washington be?
Washington's 5th, and they'll probably end up in there because Ohio State and Michigan are in the top 5, and they play each other. So one of those teams is going to be out. Whoever loses on that final week, but
Ohio State is losing that game. Michigan's pretty damn good.
Too. Yeah. I think so too. But I just don't. I don't understand the love affair with Caleb Williams. I watch Caleb Williams play, and I don't see NFL quarterback there. I just don't. And I could be wrong, but for me personally, I don't want the Bears to draft quarterback at all. I want them to go left tackle, and I want them to go with a wide receiver. Yeah. I want them to go Marvin Harrison with the first pick. I want them to go left tackle with their second pick.
I just think, like we're going to talk about Tim Anderson later. I just think Justin Fields is just not going to work in this organization anymore.
No.
He wants to be here. I think it's better for him to leave, and I like the kid. So, I mean, I think keeping him. I think he could be a great quarterback. here or somewhere else, but
yeah, I do too. I think he's going to, and we actually, because I've been on the Man Hour over the last couple of weeks, which I did my last episode with them
cheating
on
on me.
Friday. I did my last episode on
Cheating on me.
Friday. There's nothing I can do. But I
hold of me.
is this what you're gonna do when I'm on the radio? So I bet we had a TikTok blow up. It's had like some like 26,000 views now over the last week, where I talk about Justin Fields and whether he goes to Atlanta or whether he goes to LA, he's going to be an All-Pro and he's going to win a Super Bowl.
God, that LA thing just terrifies me.
Yeah. No, what really terrifies you is the dark horse, and the dark horse is Seattle. And him winning a Super Bowl with Pete Carroll would destroy you.
It would destroy me, like to my bone, like to the marrow in my bones, like down deep. Him and Pete Carroll smiling in each other's faces.
Yes,
the Lombardi Trophy.
Yep,
I can like see it now.
As he throws for 5,000 yards that season, and he throws in the Super Bowl for 350 and 4 touchdowns. Yeah. And meanwhile, Bears fans are sitting here shattered in the Super Bowl, rooting against the kid. I'll be rooting for him, because the Bears organization and all the fans in the city that are against Justin Fields and that don't think that he can be a good quarterback, they're going to deserve to watch every bit of it. They're going to deserve to watch every bit of his success. They're going to deserve to watch another franchise, a capable franchise, run away with a quarterback that can probably be the biggest dual threat that we've seen since Michael Vick.
Similar numbers to Michael Vick too, through his first 2.5 years.
Yeah,
even though I don't count.
I'd like to see him go be good in the AFC. I really would, because I would love to see him battle Mahomes year after year with a capable organization.
It would be interesting. And then we do the whole Tyson Bagent thing, and we have the most bizarre Sunday Night Football broadcast in probably my memory.
What about Fields to New England?
You have I'm not sure. I'm not sure Belichick goes for that. I mean, he's staying in New England. That's over.
Well, they just gave him an extension.
Yeah, but and coaches, well, agents release player, which I wasn't really that privy to until now. Agents release the player contracts usually to whatever person news outlet they want to do that, just to pump up the player, whatever. Coaching, it's a little different. So, and Belichick ain't going to tell anybody anything.
There's talks about him being traded to Washington. Belichick.
What?
Yeah, that's a story that came out this week. There's a possibility that new Washington owner, can't call them Redskins anymore, new Washington owner is going to trade for Bill Belichick. I don't know. Do you trade? I never understood the trading for a coach.
No.
I go find your own coach and get it right.
Yeah, coaches do matter in football, probably more than any other sport, but
they certainly matter here in Chicago. We just never see them.
No, just one bad, dumb coach after another.
Yeah. Ever since Lovie Smith.
How can you continually have coaches like this? How does this guy still have a job? No, nobody else there can coach the team. Gatsby can coach the team, can he? Fields' next team will be the Toronto, and he'll be the best Canadian quarterback ever since Doug Flutie. Doubting Thomas.
The Toronto Argonauts would not lose a game for 10 seasons if he became their quarterback.
Yeah. That's not happening. I mean, he's starting with another team next year if he's not on the Bears. He's probably starting with another team. This isn't a Trubisky thing.
There's no way he's coming back.
There's coaches out there sailing.
Unless, look, here's what I threw out there when talking about it on the radio show this week and talking with some of the people around Illinois Media School, is that the one way I see this happening and see Justin Fields coming back is whoever Poles goes out and gets to be a head coach, whether it's Kellen Moore, whether it's Jim Harbaugh, whether it's whoever it is that he hires. He goes to that head coach and says, look, here's our options. We could draft a quarterback, we can sign a veteran, or we can roll with Justin Fields. Can you win with Justin Fields? If that head coach says yes, you say, great, you've got 1 year to prove it. And if he's good and if you show that you can develop him, we'll give him a contract. If that coach believes he can win with Justin Fields, you allow him the opportunity to do so. I just don't think that that's going to happen. I really don't. Head coaches want their guys. Head GMs want their guys. And he isn't a Ryan Poles guy. He isn't going to be the head coach's guy.
That's why you don't draft a quarterback and then get rid of the GM that drafted the quarterback. I mean, even though Pace had to go, it's not how any of this works.
Right.
None of it's ever it never works in conjunction with it's all over the place.
Right.
And I got a coach who has 2 assistant coaches get fired for doing something inappropriate. We don't know what Williams did. It looks like this running backs coach, had a dick pic or something like that, or somebody a dick pic.
I mean, this team is just bad.
It's ridiculous. Why is he not fired? Like, anybody could coach a team for this terrible team for the next 9 games. Is he really getting Montez Sweat to really evaluate Flus a little bit more? Is he actually doing that? Is that actually happening? Because if it is, he's a fucking moron and he should be gone too.
Did you hear what Eberflus said in his press conference this week?
Yeah, they have an awesome culture.
Awesome culture. And they're 2-2 in their last 4. You're 5-20 in your last 25, Matt. You're 5-20 in your last 25. You've had 34 different offensive line arrangements in 25 games that you've coached.
That's why they're the worst organization in sports. Does this happen anywhere else?
No. And it's not allowed to happen anywhere else. That's the other thing. That's why it shows time and time again that this is an ownership problem. Because look, as we could blame Ryan Poles, we could blame Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus absolutely should have taken this job. It just should have never been offered to him. If somebody came right now and said, hey, look, we're going to pay you $20 million a year to run the world. Guess what? My dumbass is running the world. Because it's not a job I should have, but it's a job I would take. You know what I mean? Like, you got an ownership group for 40 years. And I'm going to keep saying it until this is done and over with. For 40 years, this ownership group has been in place. We've had 15 winning seasons. 15 out of 40. That's not good. We've had zero quarterbacks that have seen outside of their rookie deal. 0 that we have drafted have ever been signed past their rookie deal. We've had 1 quarterback play for more than 5 years, and that was Jay Cutler, the greatest quarterback in Bears history, according to the stats. The best quarterback in Bears history played for 5 seasons here and was benched in his 6th. That's what this organization is. And people, you could blame Poles, you can blame Eberflus, you can blame Ryan Pace, you can blame Matt Nagy. Those guys were put in positions that they were never going to succeed in. And that's what we have around here. That's what we have. You can blame the players too if you want. Blame Justin Fields. Go ahead. But when Justin Fields is out somewhere else being successful, you have to watch that. Just like we have to watch right now Roquan Smith in Baltimore having the season that he's having. Because why? Because he didn't fit in Chicago. He was a talented player that we didn't adjust to. We didn't build around. We wanted him to conform to what we were doing. And that's not how it works in the NFL. This ownership group, until the McCaskies are dead and gone, We are stuck in this black hole. It's just a fact. I'm sorry.
Hard to take sometimes. Hard to take. It's the worst organization in sports. I mean, I've said it before on the show. They are.
Yeah.
And a White Sox season. I mean, you mentioned it, and it seemed correct. I'm not really trying to push your buttons here, but you were saying the White Sox were the worst organization in this town, and I was like, well, the Bears still are bad, even with all the acquisitions, even with everything. The improvements to this team, and you could throw polls under the bus too. I mean, the improvements to this team have not come through.
Well, then Jerry Reinsdorf heard you say that and said, hold my beer, and made some moves this past week.
Unbelievable. Some of it.
Are you ready to get to Fitz gibberish?
All right.
Let's do this.
Let me get to the song. All right. Yes, it's Fitz gibberish. It's a diatribe. It's a conspiracy theory. And it's an island in the middle of, well, inaccurate sometimes sports talks. I think I got a few things wrong already today. So, we're going scriptless today.
Oh, boy.
Because I don't need a script to talk about Chicago sports. Just in the past week, we lost a running backs coach. The Bears, it's the second assistant coach that the Bears have lost. They're completely in disarray, and they still don't fire their coach. Let's go through all the teams right now. Why don't we? The White Sox, as you just mentioned, pretty much fired a guy with cancer when they made him go out and play a game and have to get Tommy John surgery now. Not a good look. They also got rid of Tim Anderson. They were never able to cash in on his 3.5 years, basically being the best. Well, basically, it was the best hitter in baseball and played shortstop for you. But they didn't cash in on that. They didn't cash in on Jose Abreu. They have a guy in player development that they make a GM who's a player development for a team with no good players. And you got Jerry Reinsdorf putting Chris Gatz into the role, saying that it's going to save time so they could spin and be a better team. And then Chris Gatz comes into the role, and what does Chris Gatz say? I need a few months here to evaluate things. I need a few months? We were supposed to be saving months here. And guess what else is happening in White Sox? Tony La Russa is in meetings, evaluating the farm system, evaluating players on who to get, who to keep, who to get rid of, takes a picture with Liam Hendriks, and then Liam Hendriks is gone. And I got some for your Cubs too, Combs. 93, 94% chance of making the playoffs, and then collapse this past season. What do? Oh, their manager, he's doing a great job, according to Jed Hoyer. Rossi, he's doing a great job. He did a perfect job this season. They've basically been a 500 team for a year and a half, and they added, what, $50-60 million in payroll? Luckily, Stroman is a moron and doesn't pick up the $21 million option after giving up 30 runs in 30 innings to end the season. And then you got the Hawks. Yes, the Hawks won the lottery. They got Connor Bedard. They also let a rapist go to a high school. You could say what you want about the whole Kyle Beach thing. Maybe you wanted to be with whatever. But you didn't taint your former employee, and he goes to a high school and molests a kid. Great. Another organization doing great. And you have to keep, and then you go to the Bulls who start the season. I was at the lid lifter for the Bulls. They do put on a good show. Their entire marketing scheme was see red. They even had red glasses, and they don't change the floor. The floor was the same floor that they've had for years. Now, I think we have the picture somewhere in here. Now they do have the floor changed. So none of the timing worked out. And their players are basically arguing, kicking their coach out of the damn locker room so they can talk. They're 2-4 now. Going nowhere. Probably end up 40-42 again.
When did the NBA become Boise State?
Unbelievable. And what can I attribute to this? Because what we do is we eat the shit that these teams give us here in the Midwest because we're so nice here. And we call it fucking caviar. We eat the shit that these teams give us, and I'm going to say it again, and we call it fucking caviar. No one pays the price in it. Yeah, Sox don't go to the games, but they got a sweetheart deal. Even if we don't go to the games, the Sox still get money and make money off the team every damn year because Illinois is subsidizing them. The Cubs, they just keep going to games. When the Tribune owned the team, they go 100 years, over 100 years. What was it, 108 years? Without winning a fucking championship. And it's okay by us. We got the friendly confines. It's hard, very hard to be a Chicago sports fan. It is super hard to be a Chicago sports fan. Even though the Finns are getting pasted by the Chiefs right now, they're probably my NFL team right now. I already said the Tampa Bay Rays. I might have to pick a team in hockey too. I do like what Connor Bedard's doing. That's Fitz gibberish. Combs.
I'm with you. This is a city that is full of poor ownership, a city that is full of poor front offices, a city that is full of poor coaches, and we don't do anything. In the Cubs that you said had a 94% chance to make the playoffs and missed, right?
Was it 94? Yeah, I knew it was up there.
And they're the closest ones in the city to finishing their rebuild. The Blackhawks, who I believe on the season right now are something like 3-7 or 4-7. Connor Bedard is looking good. 4 goals in his last 5 games. He is looking good. The Bulls are a shit show. You know, we don't have anything in this city right now to lay our hat on and be like, well, at least we have this. Because we don't.
Why does Matt Eberflus still have a job? Why?
It makes no sense to me that Matt Eberflus was not fired along with the running backs coach. And for Matt Eberflus to talk about, oh no, we've got an awesome culture. Well, he did not take any credit or discredit for his hiring of these 2 coaches, which have both been released within the course of the season. Like, you hired these guys. That says something about you. That says something about your ability to recruit. It says something about your integrity on people that you're talking to and people that you're hiring. And people of like in these circles of these child pornography circles, even though we have no evidence of this, but I mean, the FBI raided this man's home, so something was going on.
Yeah.
And now we have another one for inappropriate workplace behavior. I told you when this stuff happened with the first coach, I said these types of people usually run in circles.
Yep.
So what is the rest of the coaching staff like? And now you have another one doing it. Again, I reiterate, these types of people run in circles. So what is going on with the Chicago Bears that we don't? Matt Eberflus still has a job. Put Luke Getsy as the interim head coach. This season's already lost anyway. You're playing for a draft pick. Matt Eberflus needed to go, and you didn't pull the trigger. Any other organization, maybe minus the Raiders, which, again, this week they proved that even they would do it.
Yeah.
This is a change in culture. The Las Vegas Raiders, one of the most dysfunctional franchises in the NFL alongside the Bears, decided, hey, Josh McDaniels, this is not the team that we want to be. This is not the look we want to have for our team. This is not the look we want to have for Las Vegas, and this is not acceptable any longer.
How many assistant
You're fired.
have been fired from Las Vegas Raiders? Is it 0?
Yeah, none. I mean, they fired the offensive coordinator after they fired McDaniel, but they just started cleaning the house with coaches.
Yeah, not appropriate activity, not for whatever the hell is going on. Hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Wiener. At least that's the
Jeremiah Murray says, I have a lag on my stream, and watching Fitz's head bob before the audio is kind of entertaining.
I'm turning into a bobblehead with these Fitz gibberishes. That is what these teams twist you into pretzels, trying to make logic out of this is ridiculous. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what this just doesn't happen in other cities. So I have to go back on this Midwestern nice city. The Bulls games are still pretty packed. The Bears games always packed. A bunch of drunkards out there to watch a terrible team.
Yeah.
Terrible organization who is so dysfunctional.
Right.
I've never even heard of anything like this before. For a second, I was like, maybe this does happen in other cities, but it doesn't make national news. This is making national news. Like, what is going on over there?
Yeah.
With inappropriate sexual activity, with more than one, you'd be gone. If this was a college, you'd be gone. You'd be fired as a coach. I mean, just look what happened at Northwestern. We talked about it on the show. And Fitzgerald was gone. Within a week, gone. For not even close to what this is. They don't even own their own stadium.
All caps, Jeremiah says. They don't even own their own stadium. It's bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. We could go on about it for days, and we've talked about it at length on this show. But Bears fans in this city are for one, they're divided. Like, it really is like watching a political debate when you're watching Justin Fields versus Tyson Bagent.
Unbelievable.
Go on, which is just stupid. I mean, just stupid to even think that Tyson Bagent is even in the same realm as Justin Fields when he wasn't even in the same realm as, let's say, 285 other quarterbacks in Division I football in college.
And he's not.
It's a great story. Yeah, it's a great story. It's a feel good story for this kid from West Virginia, but he's not a starting quarterback in this league.
No.
He's a back. He's going to be a career backup quarterback, which there's nothing wrong with. Career backup quarterback that can come in and not lose you a game in a good system on a good team. He's going to lose you a bunch as a Bear because they're not a good system and they're not a good team.
No. They're going to get
at some point. Bears fans have to realize that until the McCaskies are gone and out of the picture, this is what we're going to be relegated to. Until Jerry Reinsdorf is out of the picture with the White Sox and the Bulls, this is what we're going to be relegated to. And as long as David Ross is the manager of the Cubs, we're going to have a 94% chance to make the playoffs and blow it.
That's just bizarre. And
I think the Blackhawks I have the most faith in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to at this point. And I have some respect for Jed Hoyer. For him to just come out and say that is, you don't have to say that. You can keep him as your manager if you want, but you don't have to come out and say. He did not have to say that he did a great job when he didn't do a great job.
And that's what we get in this town, though. We get a lot of GMs that treat us like we're dumb fans. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like, we don't see the product on. Oh yeah, no, he did a great job. I mean, we blew it out our ass down the stretch, but he did a great job. Like, what are you talking about? What are you? So we did a great job by letting Mastroboni take at bats in September. That was a genius decision. It's a great job by us.
The bullpen handling. That's where a manager really shows his true colors and really where he can affect a game.
That's where Tony La Russa killed the White Sox in the playoffs in his 2 seasons, was bullpen management.
Yep. Not bringing in Kopech quickly enough.
Yeah.
Killed him.
And so what did they do for it? Now they have him making decisions and helping out the GM make decisions on players.
In meetings. Like, who's again, with the Sox, who's in charge?
Yeah.
Who's in charge?
Nobody knows.
You know, La Russa, that no one's going to give an honest answer to anything, because La Russa's going to go back and tell Jerry. I'm going to go back and tell Jerry.
Yes. Anyway, let's move on to some other talk. The World Series happened.
Palate cleanser. Yeah, there we go.
The World Series happened. It was the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers. For the playoffs, I had picked the Texas Rangers to win in 7 over the Philadelphia Phillies. And Arizona Diamondbacks upset the Philadelphia Phillies, but then got their asses kicked and lost it in 5. Texas, who hadn't won in their history of their franchise, had never won 10 straight games on the road in the regular season, were 11-0 in this postseason on the road.
Crazy.
Just unbelievable. Their pitching was there. Their offense was insane. Corey Seager's a beast. And so the Rangers win the World Series in 5. Lots of good stuff, but the lowest rated World Series in the last 30 years. Some fans were attesting this on Facebook. I was in a group chat and arguing it with people. But some people attest this to the fact that they let too many teams into the playoffs and it watered it down. And of course, my comeback to the person was, my guess is that you're either a Braves, Astros, or Dodger fan. And he's like, well, I'm an Astros fan, but that's besides the point. Is it though? Because to me, if they messed up, if Major League Baseball messed up, it's giving the 1 and 2 seeds a bye. Because baseball is already hard enough, let alone hard enough taking a week off, getting cold while a team is coming in playing really good, solid baseball. And half of the teams that you're going to be playing or have a chance at playing have been playing playoff baseball for about 3 weeks at that point. You know what I mean? Because you're playing to get into the playoffs as a wild card. You're usually fighting for a spot. It's not locked down to the final week of the season normally. So you're fighting. So to me, it's not the amount of teams so much as it is the way they give the 1 and 2 seed the bye. What do you think?
I've been saying this is September. They broke the playoffs in MLB. Like, Rob Manfred is a moron. I talk about a guy. How does he still have a job? 3-game series in baseball where you just played 162 fucking games is idiotic. Yeah, and baseball is a timing thing, and you cannot replicate real game reps. Yeah, obviously some teams are going to be a little stale, a little rusty. A guy takes 5 or 6 games off for, I don't know, like, twisted ankle. And he's not the same the first game back. So why would they think that they would play well? I mean, the entire the way that they organized this entire season was a dumpster fire with some of these rules. Especially, I guess a lot more people stole bases. The only rule I liked was the pitch clock, and I still think that's too short. It's a thinking man's game, and they took the thinking out of it. Like, I haven't liked anything, and especially now you got a lot of fans, rightly so, saying that maybe the right teams were not in the World Series this year. Now I think the Texans probably win it anyway.
The Rangers
win it anyway. Inaccurate sports talk.
I don't see. I can't agree with the fact of people saying that the right teams didn't win it, because Texas went out and beat Houston in 7 in Houston. The Arizona Diamondbacks beat who I thought was the best team in the National League all along, which was the Philadelphia Phillies. Because you can talk about the Braves all you want. I think the Phillies have better pitching. Better starting pitching. I believe the Phillies had a better bullpen than the Atlanta Braves did. And they have similar offenses, which are both very, very good. So they beat the best teams out there. Both of these teams that were in the World Series, they still beat them in 7-game series. And to me, you can talk all you want about, oh, well, they shouldn't play a 3, which I agree with you. I think the 3-game series is dumb. I think the wild card round should be a 5-game series and the rest of them should be 7. And I don't believe that. I believe 1 should play 6, 2 should play 5, and 3 should play 4.
Yep.
That's the way that it should be.
They've done in almost every playoffs in the history of American sports.
But instead, you went all football with it, and you want to give the first and second seed a bye, which is fine in football. They have an extra bye week. Yeah. It's fine in football. It's not fine in baseball.
No, it's
just not.
It is a different sport, and in football, it helps you because you get time to get healthy.
Yes, and I liked the idea that they came up with in 2020 that they never came to fruition, that I had mentioned here on the show before, and that is the 1 seed choosing who they get to play after the wild card round. If you are going to keep the bye, let them pick. You want to add some excitement to it, let them pick. But the way to fix this is no buys. You extend the wild card round to a best of 5, and the rest should be a best of 7. And if that means that you have to shorten your season by 7 games or so, instead of having 162 games, you play 156 or 154, then that's what you do to make the game better, to make the game more appealing. You want to talk about, we've action overall. We talk about it all the time, right? We hear it on this show all the time.
Action overall.
There you go.
In their desire for faster pace of play.
Yes. And if you want all of this stuff, you want the casual fan to come into the game. You know what you do? You add excitement to the game, because I'm telling you right now, cutting a half an hour off of the games did not bring that many more fans into it. Cutting off, talking about bigger bases, doing all this stuff did not do anything for the game. Acuna still steals 70 bases this year if you don't have larger bases. Now, maybe the pitch clock helped him a little bit in stealing 70 bases. Maybe it did. But what you've got to, if you want to change your game, you've got to change it within the game. You can't change it outside of the game. Like, they've got the automated strike zones now, Rob Manfred's talking about in 2025. He's like, we're fine tuning it, and that's why we've got to wait till 2025. No, look deeper, people. The labor agreement with the umpires ends in 2024. So they've got to wait to the end of the labor agreement to implement it in 2025. They've been
this out in the minors for a decade.
Yes. In tennis has had it right for 30 years. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that baseball couldn't figure it out? I don't buy that whatsoever. So, but you've watched the, Alfonso Marquez in the World Series this year, Game 3. Rewatched his strike zone. He has a ball right down the middle that he calls a ball. The very next pitch, 6 inches outside, strike. Like, it's so inconsistent and it's so bad. If you want the game to shorten up and you want more action, in baseball, these automated strike zones should have been implemented 10 years ago. Because that would give you, because then batters know what a strike and a ball is. It's not changed per umpire. And you do change the outcomes of games with bad calls behind the plate, because now if a player doesn't know what the difference between a strike and a ball is, because you want to have the human element in the game, it's going to make it harder for them to make contact, because they have to swing at stuff that they normally wouldn't swing at. But when you have automated zones and you know what a strike and a ball is, you know what you're swinging at.
It adds 5 to 10 minutes to a game when you got the batter looking back at the umpire.
Or a manager storming out of the dugout and arguing with you and getting ejected.
Which happens once a week in baseball, probably more than that, to at least 2 teams a week.
Yeah.
Managers going nuts over a bad strike. I just don't get this. Oh, the human, you have to have the human element in the game. The players are human. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
In every facet of this baseball game, stats have changed. The way that the way guys swing has changed because of what we can do with cameras. I mean, we know now that Babe Ruth was always had a launch angle. So did Ted Williams. But we couldn't see it with a camera. We just didn't have the right tools yet. Now we know that launch angle for guys with quick enough hands is the right way to hit the ball.
Right.
I mean, we know that now. We have spin rates for pitchers. We're doing that. We know the spin rate for pitcher. We know as soon as a pitcher is starting to lose it in a game. And we can't do that with umpires? You're still going to have a job. Like, what are these umpires worried about? You're still going to be behind the plate. There's still a lot of different things to call. There's still a lot of gray area in baseball. That's the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want it taken out of your hands, that whether something's a ball or a strike?
It's I don't know. It's one of those ego type things, and I don't get it. We've got to get to the point where we get these calls right. We've got to get to a point where this is for the betterment of the game. And baseball and Rob Manfred, I mean, they do a horrible job. They do a horrible job with marketing. I mean, just it boggles my mind how bad Major League Baseball is with marketing itself. It boggles my mind how they continue to get it wrong in how to make the game better. And that's just what they do. And it's tough. So free agency starts tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We've been looking forward to this as White Sox fans. We've been looking forward to it since May. As Cubs fans, we've been looking forward to it since the end of September. And it's something that's finally here. Starts tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. You can finally sign players. The White Sox have decided to part ways, as you talked about in Fitz Gibberish, with Tim Anderson and Liam Hendricks, among others.
Anderson hits it in the air to right, back at the wall, and the White Sox win it.
Seems like a long time ago.
That guy with that flair, and they're like, "Nah, we're good." And all they did was suck the life out of it. I think that him, same thing with Justin Fields. I believe he just needs to change the scenery, and he's going to get that change of scenery, and he's going to thrive wherever he goes. He's a phenomenal baseball player. I've told you before, he was before this, past season and a half, my favorite player in Major League Baseball to watch. But it just seemed like this organization just sucked the life out of him. And I love TA. I'm going to continue to follow TA wherever he goes. I'm going to continue to watch him, watch his career, and then letting go Liam Hendricks. So we're going to let go of of probably the face of our franchise right now. We're going to let go the AL Comeback Player of the Year. And we're going to win baseball next year. That's the White Sox. That's the White Sox mentality. And we can talk all we want about the Cubs having a 94% chance and then blowing it. But at least they had a 94% chance to make the playoffs. At least they're probably going to make moves in this offseason that make you think, they might actually do something in this NL Central.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? The White Sox, what for you heading into this offseason, now that you know Liam Hendricks is gone, now that you know Timmy is gone, how does that change your wish list? How does it change what you want? Like, what do you want to see the White Sox do?
It definitely puts it definitely blows up my wish list. I mean, you almost have to get Josh Hader now, don't you? I mean, there's not a lot of relievers out there.
Does Josh Hader want to come here? That's the other thing. Like, what player can you entice to come here?
You need 2 or 3 starters. I mean, I mean, is Luis Severino still good? I know he was hurt a lot this year. His numbers were way down.
Jesse Sundin has chimed in, says Fitz with a bunch of exclamation points. What's going on, Jesse? Thanks for listening to the show.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
But
he's a
go ahead.
Too. Yeah. I mean, maybe Luis Severino. I don't know if this is a wish list. I'd like Blake Snell.
Reunion with Lucas Giolito?
No, he's not coming back here. He didn't like it here. They didn't like him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you, if you're the White Sox, how are you enticing players to get here?
You're going to have to overpay. That's what you're going to have to do.
Oh, the White Sox are definitely one of the teams that will overpay too. I mean, they've shown time and time again that they can spend money.
They're clearing payroll. They are. So they're going to pick up some guys. You got Hernandez, the right fielder.
They're definitely clearing payroll.
Yeah.
They're good at that.
Yeah, they are. Tazar Hernandez from Seattle.
Teoscar, yeah.
You've had a hole in right field and second base for 4 years now.
Yeah.
You arguably have a hole at third base too, because Makata's just terrible. I don't think he likes playing baseball. That's a problem. He's got a lot of talent, but he just doesn't like playing baseball.
Yes.
Which is not good.
Not good for a baseball player, no.
No. I
not
mean,
good quality.
If he's playing basketball, it's fine, but he's playing baseball. I think you could call it baseball. But they've had a hole in right field and second base. I guess if I have a wish list, I need Blake Snell and Sonny Gray. I need or Luis Severino, I guess. He's probably not going to cost much.
False start. Offense. The entire offensive line.
I mean, you're naming a bunch of players that just aren't coming here. Like, no. I thought when you put together a wish list, we were going to put together a realistic one.
You said a wish list. You shouldn't have said a wish list. What I think the reality is, I guess they're going to try to play Colson Montgomery at short this year, which I don't think he's ready. If he was healthy all year last year, he'd be starting for the team this year. I mean, he came after missing the first 2.5 months of the season. He just wrecked pitching in the minor leagues for the rest of the year. He's left-handed and he's a shortstop, so very intriguing player, but I don't think he's ready yet. But who else are you going to put at short now?
If the White Sox just like shock the world, it's not going to happen. But let me ask you a question. If the White Sox shocked the world and went out and got Shohei Ohtani.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Would that excite you to have another DH in this lineup?
They're not going to do it. It would
right.
be
no, they're not.
Can he pitch? 1, 2.
Not until 2025. He's not pitching this coming year.
Yeah, I mean,
he just had Tommy John.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that excites me. You're overpaying for a guy who's almost 30. I mean,
the first time the White Sox ever give a contract over $400 million, it's for another DH who's supposed to be able to pitch, but probably won't be able to pitch
for at least a year. And when he does pitch, he's not going to be great his first, year back. Usually that's what happens with Tommy John, especially with starters. 3 starters on Fitz's wish list. Well, I mean, I mentioned 3. I know they're not going to buy 3, but you need to at least go into free agency and get 2 starters.
Yeah. I think the White Sox are going to be a carbon copy almost of the Chicago Bulls, where it was like, just run it back.
Let's do it again.
We're not going to do anything to make our team better. Just run it back and let's see what happens. We've got the talent on paper. Let's see what we can do. And that's because I don't see the White Sox going out and spend. They're not going to go out and get Cody Bellinger. They're not going to go out and get Matt Chapman. They're not going to get Blake Snell because he's going to cost too much money. They're not going to go out because that's Jerry Reinsdorf just doesn't open the checkbook. And in order, like you said, in order to get a lot of these players to come to this organization, you're going to have to overpay. And that's not Jerry's MO at all. Unless you're Andrew Benintendi.
Who can't hit home runs. I mean, I thought double-digit home runs. He's had double digits before. It's for left-hander. It's a very nice park for a left-handed hitter. And the guy hit 2 home runs?
Ugh. Yeah. And the funny thing is the way I've always explained Andrew Benintendi when I talk about Andrew Benintendi is that he's a doubles machine. And that's what he was his entire career, was just a doubles machine. And he did have 34 doubles this year. Yeah. And that's just the way I've always seen him, as one of those types of guys. Now, over the past 5 years, as far as the home runs go, he did have 17 and 21 with the Royals. And then he did have a couple of double digits with the Red Sox, but 22 he only had 5 total. Or no, I believe he had 10 total maybe. Because he played with 2 different teams, right? No, he had 5 total. And so I didn't think that he was going to have the double digits in home runs. I actually thought that Andrew Benintendi would do what he did, which was be a doubles machine. I thought he would hit for a little bit of a better average than what he did this year as well. His batting average took a little bit of a dip over the last couple of years. But it's to be expected on a team where you're one of few people that are going to get pitched to with no help behind you. And that's what Andrew Benintendi was in a position of. So Megan TV says Celebrity Deathmatch, Fitz and Jerry pay-per-view. Did you take down Jerry Reinsdorf?
Sell the team, Jerry. Yes, if he loses, he has to sell the team. I'll break his damn hip.
So I like the wish list. It's kind of like for any wish list, I think for the White Sox is kind of far-fetched just because of the money you're going to have to spend and the amount of talking you're going to have to do into getting somebody to come join the franchise. Now, maybe they surprise us. Maybe they surprise us and they go out and they make a big splash and they spend a bunch of money. I don't know. But with Tony La Russa being Jerry's right-hand man again and making decisions, I just don't see it happening. Now, on the other side of town,
here we go.
With the Cubs, I do believe that there are some things that they might go and do. I was talking with a guy this past week who actually does some producing and stuff with the Chicago Cubs and talks with some of the people around the organization. And he believes in his heart of hearts that they're going to make a big splash and go hard after Shohei Ohtani. I don't believe that, nor do I really want that at this point. I don't want to spend that much money on a DH when we can spend it in like a bunch of different places. I don't believe that that's what this team is missing. So for me, my wish list is to re-sign Cody Bellinger, go out and get Matt Chapman to play third base. And then I would like to see Blake Snell. Maybe if you miss out on Blake Snell, maybe you go get Lucas Giolito. I would stay away from Aaron Nola. I know he's a big name and I know people, but his strikeout rate went way down this past year. He did not look like he is a pitcher who could stay healthy enough for me. So I think I would stay away from a long-term contract there.
What about Frankie Montas?
No. The Cubs have so many arms coming out of the minor leagues that I believe in that I don't think you necessarily have to make a huge splash, but unless you go out and get like a Blake Snell. If you miss on Blake Snell, I'd be fine with Lucas Giolito as a number 2. I'd be okay with that. I think he's only 29. He's only 29, and I think he's good enough, especially with the arms that the Cubs have coming up, to be a placeholder for one of those guys.
He's your 4th starter. Okay.
And then I want them to go get Jordan Montgomery, the reliever from Texas. I think that that's a must. You've got to build up the back end of this bullpen. Jordan Montgomery is a stud. They don't win the World Series without Jordan Montgomery. I mean, that man pitched 7 in 2/3 innings in the games 1 and game 3. Between those 2 games, 7 and 2/3 inning, and didn't allow a run. And I mean, that's when you get Scherzer that goes down, and when you get your number 1 starter who's having trouble throwing strikes, and you come in and you do performances like that. That's the type of guy that the Cubs need in that bullpen. So that would be my wish list for the Cubs. Ohtani, again, I don't see the need for that type of guy. I just don't.
I don't think he's getting them. I think he lost a lot of money when he hurt himself. I think he lost $100 million, maybe $150 million. I just don't see. Baseball's changing.
Yeah.
you can't be 36, 37 and play well in this league anymore. You just can't. I mean,
Yeah.
very few players do. Very few players. And those guys are probably on some designer steroids or something. It's just with the relief pitchers, with how hard pitchers throw nowadays. If a guy threw 100 miles an hour back in the day, that was eye-popping. Maybe you had one in a division. Now it's every other guy is 97, 98, 100.
Right.
Spotting corners with it too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So for all those listening, let us know what your guys' wish list is too. You know, chime in, hit us up on social media, Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Hit in the comments, click like, click share, click subscribe. Let us know what you guys think each team should do. What your favorite team is, what you want. Maybe not what they should do, but maybe just what you want. Maybe you want Ohtani, maybe you want Yamamoto, maybe you want every top free agent out there. Regardless of it, let us know. What real quick before we get to the Wheel of Death and get on with our day and go watch the Bears get their asses kicked in New Orleans. What do you feel about Connor Bradley? Have you watched any Blackhawks yet this year?
Yes, I have. Watched. I think they lost 8-1, but he had like an amazing goal tonight. He's everything he's built to be. I mean, I'm not going to. I don't think I've ever said I'm not like some hockey expert, but everything he's built to be. Can really shoot from any position. Great, much better passer. You know, his face-offs. I feel like that's something you could teach.
Yeah,
his face-offs have not been good, but I think that's something you can teach for sure.
And as he's still only 18, so as he gains body mass and strength, he'll be able to outpower some of these other centers as well.
And I see it. I see, you know, the parallels to Kane, but I think he can be much better than Kane was. I think he could be a more physical player than Kane was.
Okay.
You know, it's really early. I'm just saying from what I see, he definitely has more physicality than Kane did when Kane was that age. You know, like you said, he has to grow into it. We'll see. He's only 18. He could still grow a little bit. You know, I think it's everything he was everything he's built to be. I don't know what your thoughts are.
How long before he gets the C on his chest? I think it'll be next season. I think next season he'll have the C on his chest. Yeah.
20th birthday.
Yeah. This kid is that special. This kid is that good. And I like 4 goals in his last 5 games. The goal that he scored against Arizona was he became the youngest player in NHL history to score a goal in under 30 seconds. You know, his wraparound, his first goal in the NHL was a wraparound goal where he looked lightning fast. Like nobody else on the ice was that fast. And his shot is ridiculous already at 18 years old, and it's only going to get better as he gets stronger and as he gets bigger. Like that's how it's going to go for this kid. I think he's a superstar in the making, and I'm very happy that he's a Chicago Blackhawk.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's key. We had Johnny Supan on. We'll have him again, assistant coach at Crown Point here in Indiana High School for hockey. We'll have him on again. He wants to
shameless plug
a little bit. He wants to talk a little bit, but he did say he did make that point. The way he shoots, the way he can shoot from a lot of different angles and a lot of different body angles. That's really important in hockey, and it's shown.
Megan TV says you guys have sure grown a lot since you've been 18.
Yeah,
we've grown out in our bellies, especially me. But these guys, these athletes do get a lot bigger after they're 18, like body mass wise. I'm not talking about he's not going to grow in height or anything, but he's going to grow in body mass. He's going to get bigger and he's going to get stronger. So
grow an inch or two after you're 18. I mean, not that would matter for him. And I don't think he's ever going to be a tall.
An inch or two matters. Ask Nicole.
All our lives hang by a thread. Now we've got a man waiting for sentence. But ain't it the truth? You take your chances with the law. Justice is only a roll of the dice, a flip of the coin, a turn of the wheel.
This is the Wheel of Death.
And here we go.
And this is the Wheel of Death. We should just call this the Wheel of Fitz, because I've had to spin a couple of times, but you've spun the rest.
Check out the big brain on Brad. Smart motherfucker. That's right.
And you'll be spinning again this week.
Prick.
Because you picked the Bears to beat the Chargers very stupidly, and cover the spread very stupidly.
Go back. You were like sweating because you did the. I guess I'll take the Chargers. Now you're acting like you're a fucking.
No, I took the Chargers quick.
Crazy.
Here we go.
So do you want to spin the wheel first, or do you want to do our picks for this week first?
Let's spin the wheel first.
All right, let's spin the wheel first.
God, I wish I was Fitz's bookie.
Here we go. 1, 2, or 3. How many times are we doing this?
Let's do 2. We haven't done. I don't think I've done 2.
All right, we're going with 2. Here's the first spin.
Edible.
You don't want edible on the first one. You want it on the second one.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, prank call Hallis Hall asking to purchase the Bears. That would have been a fun one.
You're so stupid!
I would have loved that.
That would have been awesome.
Well,
Maybe another week.
Get it? Yeah.
Crack an egg. Crack an egg. Crack an egg. What's the punishment going to be here on the second spin? Oh! Eat an edible before the next show.
Yes.
As if Fitz gibberish wasn't already bad enough.
If you just did that. First you ditched me last night and go to a bar, and now Fitz gibberish sucks.
I'm joking. You're going to be doing a Fitz gibberish next week after having eaten an edible.
I'm not going to be able to read.
This is going to be interesting.
I get blasted off edibles.
Yeah. I mean, I might have to be on site for this one. We might have to do this. I don't know if this is going to be good enough to do. That's a great punishment.
I'm telling you, it is a punishment. It is.
Oh, it would be a punishment for me too, because I'm like you. I would get the last time that I take not gummies. I was like an edible, like a brownie.
Yeah.
I felt like I was melting into my couch. So I can only imagine doing a show like that. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. Tune in next week where we could see Fitz gibberish.
Gibberish all over. Fitz gibberish for an hour and a half.
Fitz gibberish for an hour and a half. Dolphins are coming back. It's 21-14.
Here we go.
In Germany. The Chiefs do have the ball with 2:42 to go in the fourth.
Get that ball back. Come on, Mike.
Who would you have picked in this game?
What was the line?
It was the Chiefs were a 3.5 point favorite.
I probably would have taken the Dolphins.
I would have taken. I took the Chiefs because I do another thing on ESPN. And I took the Chiefs.
Take the best team in the league. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's
them going on them taking chances. What a brave soul.
I just felt the Chiefs had the better defense.
You're such a brave soul.
You're an idiot. You ready to make our picks? Here we go. Here we go. Vikings versus the Falcons in Atlanta. And the Falcons are a 3.5 point favorite. Who you got?
I'll take the Falcons. I don't think Dobbs is playing for the Vikings. Thought that was a decent pickup by the Vikings, though. But
yeah, I didn't think it was a great. I thought it was a dumb pickup for the Vikings. I didn't understand, and I didn't realize that Kellen Mond
play.
Well, they just drafted Kellen Mond 2 years ago. I didn't realize that he was no longer on their team. Did you know that? You didn't know that.
I did not know that. Nope.
I'm going with Atlanta as well. I'm giving up the points. So the next one, I'll go first. We have the Browns at home taking on the Arizona Cardinals. The Browns are a 13-point favorite. I am going to go.
You don't know what to do here.
I'm gonna go with the Browns. Deshaun Watson's back today. I'm gonna give up the points.
Going Browns.
That's a lot of points, man.
Cardinals lost their quarterback. Like, they want to lose games. Like, I don't see this. Yeah.
Wow, you're going them too, huh? That 13 points is a ton in the NFL, but
It is, and Watson hasn't looked like himself. I don't know if he's still hurt or what's going on there.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's been out for the last 2 weeks, I think, in concussion protocol. But I don't know. It's the Browns, like you said. It's the Cardinals. They don't look very good. I don't even know who's throwing the ball for them today. So give me the Browns. I'll give up the points. You're on the same train. Then we got the Rams heading to Lambeau.
Rams.
Packers are 3.5-point favorite. You're going Rams, huh?
I am not going to be on any side of Jordan Love. That thing is not going to work out.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I'm with you. I think that the Rams are going to win this outright. So I would definitely take the Rams and the points. I agree. Jordan Love is not the guy. He's terrible.
Dude, there was a play in the end zone where the guy picked it off for him. They gave him a touchdown, and he was still terrible in that game.
Washington Commanders just depleted their defense. They traveled to New England to take on the New England Patriots. Patriots are a 3-point favorite.
Good home team, too.
I'm going to go with the New England Patriots at home. I liked the Commanders until they did what they did during the trade deadline. So I'm going to go with the Patriots. Patriots find a way to pull this one out.
Yep. Patriots here too.
Oh, man. All right. Gonna have any that are different? We've got the Bears and the Saints. This one might be different. We got the Bears and the Saints.
You're about to take the Bears.
In New Orleans.
I'm taking the Saints.
New Orleans is a 9-point favorite.
I'm taking the Saints.
You're taking the Saints?
Bears is the game that fucked me last week. I don't think you said that, but the Bears is the game that fucked me.
I think Kamara is going to run all over this team. I think the Saints defense is a top 10 defense in the NFL.
They're good.
I don't think that there's any way the Bears keep this within 9 points. I am on New Orleans as well.
Wow.
I just don't think there's any way. If Justin Fields was back, I might go a different route, but he's not. So then we got the Seahawks 5-2 at the Ravens, who are 6-2. Baltimore's a 6-point favorite. Who are you taking?
Fuck. Pete Carroll. The Ravens turned a corner, I think. I'm taking the Ravens.
You're taking Baltimore, and you're giving up 6.
Do it, Combs. Do it, Combs.
I am going with Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm taking the points.
Yeah.
You're so stupid!
I think that the Ravens win the game outright, but I think the Seahawks can keep it close, keep it to a field goal game. So give me the Seahawks. Then we have the Buccaneers, 3-4. You love the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Headed to Houston to take on the Texans. Houston Texans are a 3-point home favorite. Last week we had a lot of road favorites. This week we got a lot of home favorites. Mm-hmm. Houston's a 3-point home favorite. Who you got?
What was Houston? I think we both went with the Texans, and Stroud just didn't show up. I can't go with Mayfield again. I'm going Houston.
Yeah, I'm there already. I had already written my pick down.
You wrote it down.
I thought you were going with.
You got over there. You got an inkwell over there.
I thought you were going with Tampa Bay for sure. I'm
Cran.
No, I'm going with Houston. No, I'm a Marine. I'm a Marine. I eat cran, so I can't keep them in the house. So no, I think Houston's, but I think CJ Stroud's the real deal. And yeah, he's good. I had him as the second best quarterback coming out of that draft, actually. I did. Anyway, Colts with Gardner Minshew.
Wait a second.
The big brain on Brad.
Head to Carolina.
Hurt your back patting it.
In Carolina, the Indianapolis Colts are a 2.5-point road favorite. Who you got?
Well, I got to go for the Colts because Carolina's got to keep losing so the Bears can fuck up this draft.
Yeah, Carolina accidentally won a game last week. They're not going to let themselves do it again. So I'm taking Indianapolis as well. Minus 2.5.
It's probably too early to say Bryce Young is a bust, but
no, it's not. I said it before the draft. Giants and Raiders. Well, I'm patting myself on the back. Giants head to Las Vegas.
That's right.
The Raiders just lost their head coach, just lost their offensive coordinator. They are a 1.5-point favorite over the struggling Giants. Who do you got?
Giants are just in a tailspin. I mean, I know the Raiders lost their coach, but I don't know. Maybe the players are scared. I'll take the Raiders at home.
You're going to take the Raiders at home. Damn. We've only got one game where we've picked opposite.
Oh, you are taking the Raiders.
Yeah,
you and Pete Carroll.
I'll tell you what.
Your boyfriend.
I'm going to go with the Giants.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to take the points.
Taking one for the team.
No, I'm going to take the Giants. I think the Giants will find a way to win. I think that the Raiders are really bad. Aiden O'Connell is going to be their starting quarterback. Give me the Giants.
Taking one for the country.
Cowboys.
Taking one for the country.
Cowboys travel to Lincoln Financial Field, where they are a 3-point underdog. The Eagles are a 3-point favorite. Who are you taking in this one?
Eagles. I don't trust the Cowboys as far as I can throw fucking, I don't know, Jerry Jones.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I'm going to take the points. I think that the Cowboys are a good team. I think that they need to make a move here in the NFC East if they want to stay in contention. If not, the Eagles are going to run away with this thing. I think the Cowboys find a way to win on the road and improve to 6-2.
Give me the Seahawks and the Cowboys.
Give me the Cowboys +3. Sunday Night Football, Bills and Bengals. First time that the Bills go to Cincinnati since last year when they almost had a guy die on the field.
Oof. Why would you?
So DeMar Hamlin probably won't even dress for this game because he's not very good, and the Bills haven't dressed him. I think he's only dressed for one game this season.
Crazy.
Bills, Bengals. Bengals are a 2.5-point favorite at home. Who you got in this one?
I think the Bengals they showed me something last week. I think Burrows is back. I think he's healthy for the first time this season. I'm taking the Bengals. Fuck the points.
Yeah, I like the Bengals. I like what they've done. Their defense is starting to play better.
You're gonna copy me.
Burrow's showing signs of coming back. And I am going to agree with you. And I'm going with the Bengals, and I'm giving up the points. I think the Bengals win this one by a touchdown, if not more. I wanted to go against you. I just can't. I tried talking myself into it. I just couldn't do it. I think Buffalo's got problems, and I think Miami's going to win that division, even though they lost to the Chiefs just now. But it's just me.
We've got news update. Doubting Thomas. Timmy just signed with the Diablo Rojos of the Mexican League.
Oh, God. The Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football travel to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Football Jets, who play in New Jersey.
Your boyfriend.
The Chargers are a 3.5-point road favorite. Who you got?
Justin Herbert showed me enough. I'm taking the Chargers. I know you're taking the Chargers too.
I am not. I am taking the Jets and the points.
I'm not. I don't know what's going on with you today, but I am not doing this.
I'm taking the Jets, and I'm taking the points. I think the Jets win this game outright.
I think still at shortstops.
I think people are underestimating the New York Jets. I think that people are thinking that they're done, and every week they show people that they are still pretty damn good, and they have a ton of talent. So you can play that sound effect all you want. It's not going to do you any favors next week when you are spinning the wheel again.
Shut up.
When you are spinning the wheel again because the New York Jets beat the Los Angeles Chargers.
Up your butt, Jobu.
I think next week we should make our picks before the show and then just announce the ones that are different.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's not a good idea,
might save a little bit of time.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Right. Yeah, I think after an hour and a half talking to each other, we pretty much want to kill each other. That's the witching hour. About an hour and a half in, I want to stab you in the throat. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean the feeling's kind of mutual. Typically.
Well, you've already killed like 4 or 5 people this show. Boxing match. Shanna, we haven't seen you in a little while. Thanks for
we can get into a boxing, man. You want to get in a ring with me?
There we go. You're not in my weight class. Now you really want to kill me.
Wow. Wow.
You got knocked the fuck out, man. Give me my goddamn.
Oh, all right.
Oh, you're mad.
That was brutal. Combs is minus 220 versus Fitz.
Oh, thanks, Doubting Tom. Fucking asshole.
Thanks, you Doubting Thomas, and those are facts. Those are facts.
Shut up.
Clearly, I'm a plus 220 in Fitz's world because that's pounds, not the betting class.
Yeah, 1 year, bro. I fucking broke my back pretty much.
She's been busy with life.
How much food prep, I think she meant to say, can I do for 1 day a week? I mean, I don't really food prep. I just eat.
You just eat
a lot because I'm a fat kid, according to Fitz. Dick.
Take one for the team.
Any rate, I did take one for the team. God damn it! Yes. I took the Giants.
Yeah. Let's see how that works out for you.
We talked about the Bears today. We talked trades. We talked stupid Chicago sports.
Really
and how bad it is. And then Fitz spun the wheel of death, and he'll be eating an edible next week on the show. Tune in next week. Monday, new day for Windy City Sports.
Moving forward.
We'll be doing Mondays, new job opportunities have arose that I am jumping on, new career that I am jumping on, and never looking back, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will be working weekends now. So Monday nights will be the new show time. 7 p.m. or you want to do 6 p.m.? What time do you want to do? 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10? You're eating an edible, so you might want to go early.
To be decided.
You might want to go after you put Aiden to bed.
Yeah, maybe 7 p.m. Maybe 7 p.m.
All of a sudden, we'll have a picture on Facebook of Aiden wrapped in tinfoil in bed.
Yeah.
All start.
All right. Till next week, guys. New time, Mondays. We'll see you then. Have a good one.